In a world where shadows fall, the creek takes hold, it's hard to call. Little Sita, hear the cries, mother's wisdom, it never dies. Baby little Sita, rise up in night, together push back, ignite the night. No more suffering, break the chains, we'll shout truth, fuse the pains. Behind the smiles, they steal away. Innocent souls cutting their blade. Bankers dance on the broken dreams, but in our hearts we spark the flame. Freedom calls out from the dark, we will ignite, we'll leave a mark. In every heart, let hope her take flight. Eternal vigilance, gods are right.
Lullabies and long goodbyes, and I'll admit to it. Don't know what to say to you sometime. Isn't that right? The houndstooth and the herringbone I should have had but should have known. The ringer rang it right on out. I wonder what's it all about. And I believe the houndstooth and the herringbone, and I believe the shark's tooth and the rabbit's foot. And in the morning everything will be alright. Well, Maria's people, Mama's people, I'm coming to you at precisely 3:13 in the morning. St. Lucifer, Zion. St. Lucifer, Zion, America. Zion, Atlantis. And to you, my brothers and sisters, I give you a healing hail. And I project the Hegel six-pointed star of Om to your astral heart. And as the triad 3 become 1, not in the illusion, outside of the illusion. The 3 are misremember, misrecover, and misreturn. For on that glorious Sunday morning of a resurrection, the 2 young, beautiful women dance together in an apartment in Vienna, Austria, and as their lips met, a big bang spark shocked the entire stratosphere, atmosphere, vrilsphere. And as they touched each other, loved each other, the 2 greatest gods of all time, Lucifer and his wife Diana, or you could say Diana and her husband Lucifer, for they are Lucifera. They are one. They are the Lucy Ball. They are Lucille Ball. And they are the Ball's door, Baldor. Because the myth of resurrection has been stolen from you, of course, by the eternal thieves who want you to give thanks that somebody is it, someone has to play the part, or what? Would we get bored without truly, authentically evil people? You know? Should we ask that question? And we all know the answer. Because every day Hollywood takes advantage of your unconscious and the programming in it, and over and over and over and over, good versus evil, good versus evil, good. Well, is the essential evil, is the essential evil essential? And of course, we all know the answer is yes. We all know without pure war and hatred, there is no love and peace. Because that's why we're here. We know that unconsciously, and the black magicians are taking advantage of you not remembering and you following their dumb puppets that lead you around with words and don't point you to your own experience. Or directly, if you hear me and you can dismiss me, but you know that the data stream is out there that Maria Orsic's spokesman spoke for her and told you, and you can pretend that you didn't hear, but our religion, in one word, is experience. You can learn all things. You will. You can only. You are only able to learn from your own experience. And that's why we don't allow people to follow the spokesman. Because why? That wouldn't make me like the clown face president, who is really just the cocksucker of the bank, of a machine, They have those machines, that, yeah, he sucks one of those. That's how cuntish boring he is. And I should tell that story very quickly. In February of 2020, the COVID lockdown began on March 19th, 4 days after one of the founding members of the Process Church died. And COVID was named after him. And all the human sacrifice was gobbled up by this fat, ugly pig of a person. And excuse me, pigs. Pigs are cute. Pigs are beautiful. This person is, shame on me for saying it. This person is literal waste, human waste. And as I say that, I can, hear them saying, oh, really? You need an enemy? You wouldn't learn what you learned? Yeah, but at the same time, like Maria said, we don't take anything personal from our brothers and sisters. We know that people make mistakes. People get emotional. People think everything's about them. And we do excuse that, pardon that, but we don't excuse our enemies who openly harm the vulnerable. They commit force and fraud every single day of their lives. It is actually part of their religion. And uh, you know, respect to them in this way for being authentic. But as Maria is saying, in this case, we do take it personal, because one of the only times I ever seen Maria cry was when she told me, I was in another world, in another dimension, very safe and very sound, very sane, and I was walking around in two worlds. My mind was locked in with my dance students and their parents and how they were suffering. And I knew that some of them were being burned alive in a, true Holocaust burnt offering to who? Who was it to? Churchill. What a fitting name. The boringest fucking place. Generation X, you know that I am speaking the truth. The boringest place we grew up in was the church, because it's fake. It's boring because it's fake. And like Maria said, it's not our fault they took the party out of the church. And what did she mean by that? She meant that the sacraments were marijuana, mushrooms, every psychedelic cactus, root, herb, every living thing that wanted to come together and essentially party with us. And, that's the actual foundation of Druidic spirituality, is the Amanita muscaria mushroom. And, it's something we're never going to compromise on, that we don't want you to choose to follow us. We don't want you at all. We want your true self, your instincts, to remember the truth, recover your true attitude towards life, and return, whether you're alive here on earth or not, to your home, which always was and always will be your true self in nirvana heaven, a white light that protects the individual forever and ever and ever. And maybe that's the mystery, that I need to understand next, is why this white light energy is so comforting that I may have never have left my egg. And that's all, symbolic. It's all creative. There's no egg. There's no anything. There's no thing. There's nothing but energy. And every single thing, and there's no real word for it. We just say energy. But there's no way to destroy it. There's no way to actually harm it. And there's no way to actually confine it. And that's the reality that we've come to, that we don't hate many people. And I'm speaking for Maria. Very few people does she hate. But the people she does hate, she hates with Scorpio internally produced poison. Like she said, in any world at any time, I'll kill Aleister Crowley with vril. And she said, I will openly send my spokesman to call you a fat, ugly, out of shape piece of shit. And no one cares about your threats, because we're like you. You can't harm us. There's no way for you to... And the basic difference between Maria Orsic and Aleister Crowley is Maria never once used what she was taught by Lucifer for her own personal gain. And because it would violate her individualism, her inner code, and it wouldn't be fun. And she rather depend on her gods to provide for her, even if she was going to starve to death, even if she was going to freeze in the German ice, and even if other girls her age were making fun of her and saying, "Why do you work so hard? Why don't you use your pussy to get a hardworking man who worships you?" And she said, "My God, Lucifer told me, this is your test. You keep silent, and you do not ever tell them who your real husband is, because earthly marriage is temporary, and love is common. It's beautiful. It's common. We should all protect each other and care about each other. But eternal, true love is love without death, and that's something that your true self will have to prove to the avatar to even know that it can exist, because look around you. Is that what you call love? Maybe. It certainly, without any doubt, isn't eternal true love or love without death. Right? What would that look like? Well, your experience is going to have to define it. And like Maria said, that's why this is a religion that not everyone can believe in, and I choose who believes in this religion by their energy field. They don't choose it. Like she said, many people came to me and said, I want to join your group. And she said, there's no joining. What do you mean? I don't have a group. And they would respond to her, I thought you would be very happy that, it's like the social media of Venusian quality. Like, I have 8 million followers and we're all going to join your group. And she's like, there is no group. And you're not invited to this moment. It's moment to moment. And you're not invited to this moment. We love you. We wish no harm upon you, but we're not Christians. We don't want your money or your energy or your tears. We don't want your fake sincerity because it's boring. It's done. It's old. It's so fucking done. And a biggest dome. True to the true mother. And the true father. And a moment for you, everyone who suffers these vibrations, like my best comrade, my best friend said, I'm allergic to the world. And what's that mean? You're, trying your best to balance, but you're uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable, right? It's because you're able to be a strong, unconquerable castle. You know that you can be that, and you needed us to come and tell you it's not you, it's the technology that you paid to come to. And that was your test of, how you genuinely would vibe with the simulation. And specifically what Maria means by that, how our people would vibe with coming into contact in a relationship with materialism, right? A thought process that material things keeps us secure. And that's, an 8 loop that she's trying to make for you, that she didn't live that way. Because it's boring. She lived in a, supernatural relationship with Lou, and was willing to go without things if Lou wanted her to. She said to me and Siggy would say to her, "Where's our next predestined meal coming from?" And she said, "Believe it. Most people we knew who got their hands on the newsletters thought we were some lesbian, pussy-eating, wicked, and witches." And we had our share of death threats from Christians in Vienna and in Germany. Christians always were Maria's enemy. They were always the one bringing the energy against her. Because they're of the boring God, and that's why we're hyper-boreans. We are beyond the gods of the boring, the gods who hate you. You see, it's all fucking nonsense. There is no God. Whatever that is, you may or not know. We may not know what we're even talking about to each other, right? So we don't deal with that. We would deal with the reality that each person is the all-powerful God over themselves. And most of the masses are willing to play an eternal game of trying to trick you into there's somebody else, somebody more powerful, bigger, That's your whole self-help religion. Is for the masses to learn how to trick the good. And is that possible? That's possible. Maria showed me our people from Venus, because they are shamanistically inclined, there's no depth that they can't fall to and recover from and return. You know what I mean? You may think, well, our people could never be prostitutes on the street shooting heroin. Oh, yeah, they could. You could. You don't know whose world you're in. You don't know who's got the power here, but either you learn from the experience of hearing me, or you take the long, eternal return way around. And you keep searching in the Maya, so you keep searching in the illusion, and you keep finding the next piece that leads to the next piece that leads to the next piece, but you never really realized. You're back to the first piece, and you just did nothing but repeat the whole thing. You're like, but I learned more, but okay. When you stop learning from the same thing thousands thousands of times, then you will be ready to wake up home. And like Maria said, then you'll know what people are talking about when they say, don't go to the simulation if you like yourself like you are now, because I guarantee you, I've been there, I guarantee you, you will not be the same. And we back on Venus are like, impossible. That's impossible. No one can change the true self, and not realizing we're always the avatar as long as we're conscious. And you're like, can you really be two consciences, right? Can you really be two places at one time? Yeah. And it really can be authentically you? Yes. Because we're able to act beyond thought, beyond intellect. We're able to encounter each other beyond thought. And that's the only way to be more than one. The other way would be to invade someone's body and mind space. And that is why the Crowleyites, and remember the Christians are Crowleyites, Crowleyanity is Christianity, and they are eternally possessed by Crowley. And we are eternally in our space at home saying, give them what they want, as it is. So be it. That's what they want. Give them all of the Crowleyanity they want in a simulation where they can hurt others. Rhea Orsic's explanation of evil. Because she's saying it's time to stop taking another person's opinion for the very most important things. Right? These things, it's very Scorpio to have a defined foundation, even if you're wrong. It's better than none. It's better than floating. Like she said, we're fixed to the fixture of eternity. Like, that's what it means to be a fixed sign, yeah. And more than you can ever believe, finding the right birth chart and knowing that the planets in your birth chart, in the simulation, the planets represent literally who you were when you signed the contracts to come here. And the houses are what you contracted, planned, predestined to happen in the house of the earthling you. The houses are you as an earthling, and what you planned as a Venusian to experience, to create a persona that you would agree to, that you would want to be when you go back home. That's how you go home. You have to align the energies, align the runes, so that they vibrate with the person that you contracted with this company to come to this simulation to produce in you. It's like a infomercial claim, like, we can change your true vibration by coming to the Earth simulation with the help of the great god Lucifer. You can change. And you could see how this would be a real selling point on Venus, since there's very, 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 very little change. Why? Because there's not a lot of evil, and in the sectioned off caste system, in some places there's no evil, and hasn't been for a long, long, long millions of years. Like she said, once people stopped dying and got to Venus, time became an abstract, a joke. And we went back to the language of magicians and wizards and shamans instead of doctor. Doctor this and doctor that. Right? We went back to Isis. And our religion changed from interest in money to interest in individual, powerful people whose art is the moment, the spark. Like Maria said, that night, let me tell the story very quickly. Maria Orsic, she received a notebook full of foreign writing that she found out was Sanskrit. And in, like she said, one of the most incredible, or the most incredible night of her whole life. And she said it was like going to 100 mountain peaks, because she had made a plan with her god, Diana, Lucifer, goddess Diana, god Lucifer, and I'll give my life for my race, for my land, for my people to know the truth. Like, literally, she said, me and Siggy were that crazy. We were doing the ritual for many years together now, and we were telling Lou and Donna, that we would do anything, that the vibration was so terrible in Austria and then in Germany, because the people were so scared, because the whole world was saying, we're going to kill you, we're going to burn you alive, take your children. And Germans, she said, were the furthest thing from shamans. They were the most literalist. And they're watching. And she said, this is after World War I. And World War I, she said, was just like we fell asleep one night and woke up in a nightmare. Our whole land, our whole country. Austria. And then Germany. And she said, Joe, that's more like saying like Missouri and Illinois. She said, like, half the people we knew, their family were from Germany or France. She said, like anything else, birds of a feather flock together. But she said we embarked on 20. Lou had told us after his deep own shamanic journey meditation on the plane of existence in Aldebaran where he was at, he said, my student, my daughter, if you can do this, I will accompany you. What I received from my true self is that you need to do the ritual we've been doing for 10 years. You need to do it 20 nights in a row, and I'll be here with you. And she said, Joe, around day 8, we didn't know what day it was anymore. And she said, I remember Siggy saying to me, we are mushrooms. We turned into the mushroom last night. And me saying, I know, you're right. And that was the 8th day. She said, we went through every stage of life. She was like, we used every power in the universe. She's like, that's how we found out the orgasm practically on its own practical level of, like she said, of like exercise and release of energy 10 million times more powerful than anything else. She said, if you're willing, you can go to a place where you can be the observer of that. She said, but if you just think about it, common sense, you'll realize it. And she said on the 19th ritual, she said it was like the Wizard of Oz. She was like, it was like someone picked up our apartment, and she said there were people who lived next door to us. And she said it was like someone picked up the apartment in its hand and walked to another world and set it down somewhere else and said to us, one of my highest joys is to watch you girls enjoy yourself. You are my daughters. You are the only women I've ever seen that reflect my wife, Diana. She said, you might say that night, me, Siggy, and Diana were one in every way you can possibly imagine. She said, I was at many times the observer, completely out of my body, out of my body. And I realized that I was not anyone that anyone else had told me I was, except, and she said I really knew on a practical level, the only people I really, really know are Siggy, Lou, and Donna. She's like, all the hundreds of people I knew, and they just had no idea who I was because I was just realizing myself. And she said, I understood the monumental task that they would believe who I was before they would believe who they were, and how impossible it was to save Austria and Germany in the natural world. And like she's saying, Joe, does that sound familiar? America, You're from the same blood, the same vibration, the same memory, the same blood memory, the same astral blood memory. That, so we don't take it literal. We're from, that's how I'm your ancestor. She's saying to you, the listener, I am your ancestor through the vibration of the astral blood. Not your family, not your bloodline. That's not magic. That's not my way. That's the way of the boring. That's the way that produced this horrible culture that goes no deeper than what will sell. To who, boss? To 12-year-olds. We need them to bother their parents to buy this download. And all the magic is sucked away because magic uncelebrated ceases to be magic. In what way? You forget. You literally can forget the most magical things that ever happened in reality because of the pressure to succeed in the world's eyes, which can include your family, your children, your grandchildren. Well, anyway, as Maria would say, on the 19th night of Amanita drinking, and she said that was at least 20 grams each a night. And she said, what's crazy is on the 16th or 17th night, she said, Siggy said to me, Maria, you are an eyes without a face. And she said, the moment she said that, all I could see on Siggy were eyes. No nose, no mouth. And she said, for a full 30 seconds, I went, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And she said, Siggy said, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? And she said, you have no nose or mouth. And she said, that's what I mean. You are in eyes without a face. And she's like, you mean like a face? AI. And she was like, that's what it means. The third eye. That's what it really means. Your third eye is your face. And she was like, I know this wouldn't make sense to anyone, but she said we were hugging each other going, I know, I know, I know. It's true, I know, I'm with you. And she said there was many times where we hugged each other and said, I'm scared. She said because we would deliberately, we were trying to save. She said it would be in your day and age exactly like soldiers in Baghdad as the United States military surrounds them with Tomahawk missiles and ballistic, all this jets. And she said on the spiritual plane it was the same thing. That early, even 1922, because of World War I. And she said just couldn't imagine. She said although you could, because America is the, big bully Britain of today, the traitor that sucks up to its own enemies to conquer the weak. That's the example you set around the world since World War II because you proved that you are the bad guy. You always were. And not, you weren't always, but since World War II, you have been because you sold your soul, America. See, Mary has left America. Mary's left her pure, loving, beautiful vibration of caring for everything under the sun, as she often is saying to me lately, including spiders, scorpions, snakes, and other such animals that are hated by people. We will never give up on, as she said. She told me recently that one time she was gone on the UFO, project for a few weeks, and when her and Siggy returned, a snake was sitting on her bed and rose up and bowed to her as she walked in the room. She said it literally stood up 3-4 foot tall, almost almost as tall as her, and then bowed its head to me. A completely, as she said, a completely wild snake. Like she says, probably first person that the snake ever met, the first human, was Maria. And she said this was a very rare, big snake. And not harmful, She said it was a common snake. Like you would say a garden snake. It didn't come to her, and she said that was the first thing it said to me, is I didn't come to harm anybody. I don't need food. Right? I didn't come to harm you. I don't need food. It's saying to me I'm not desperate on instinct. And she said, I stopped, bowed, and said, greetings, welcome to my home. And she's for real. This was just a few weeks ago. She told me, me and Siggy hung out with the snake all night. And then the snake asked to leave and told us that something that it didn't understand brought it into the house and into our bed. And if people haven't heard me before, especially people in Germany, and I love we as Maria's spokesman, we would love to hear from people in Russia. If anyone in Russia is listening, we would love to hear from you or have you come on. We want to know the gods of Russia. We want to know the atmosphere of Russia today, what it's like to the individual, We want to know about the history, the monuments, megaliths, all of it. Because Russia is censored in the West like Maria is deleted from the Matrix. And if you're wondering, or you may have heard me say, and I was going to say for people who, are in Europe, Maria most definitely would say, or has told me several times, see, here in North America, the confluence of the Missouri and Mississippi River is where Lou and Donna lived when they came from Cannabis, Canaan, to the Western world, to America. They traveled, they toured, but they settled down at the confluence of the two great rivers, the two female rivers, because they knew in the future that these two girls, Siggy and Marie's, sacred fluids, sacred waters would one day mix in the most beautiful symphony of harmonic scales that, as Donna has told me, create worlds, heal individuals, save people from their own, backwards vibration. They don't always have to be backwards. Help them turn the wheel of the cycle, the wheel of the four-tuned fortune, the four-tuned guitar of the true self. Coming from the dancer of dancers, whom we all love. But that most powerful place in Europe is the Externstein. I don't even know if I say it right. Externstein. Megalithic rock formation. Lake of memory. And that very carved out stone tomb, as late as 1945, even, Rhea Orsic, at the age of 49 years old, laid in that tomb, taking soma, and was accompanied by two, as she said, excellent drummers who would not have stopped drumming if their life depended on it. They drummed like their life depended. She said it was so powerful. And she said that's where I really gained the confidence that we can do this. We can leave the physical world for good, forever, and never come back. Like she said, no one knew what was going to happen. We didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know. We just thought it's going to be business as usual for the British Empire, Oh, they ganged up with the whole world. Oh, I guess they're going to give Russia some of the empire. Oh, no, they're not, because they're going to stab Russia in the back. Why? Because it's a simulation, and they have chosen themselves in a make-believe comic book all-powerful God that's chosen them, and their two clown witnesses, Trump and Musk, the insane clown posse, the Joker jesters, the Marvel comic surface shallow as fuck hero. Shallow as fuck hero. I mean, it is the polarity switch on you, America. This is what you deserve. A clown face, makeup face, world wrestling. Fake. I mean, there's no other way to say it. People are, well, it's entertaining. I know. That's your condemnation, And what am I saying about these spots? I'm saying that if you feel like you need to go there, you must go there. I didn't know what was. I look back at myself and sort of marvel at my obedience to what I was at that time, just my own inner voice. This is before Maria officially spoke to me on my birthday, that 2011. Before that, I guess it was a month before that, in June of 2011, my friend, after like a year of asking her. She was asking around. She found me some magic mushrooms, and I took them on vacation to Virginia. And I was just, like I said, being led. Like I was like, I got to figure this ancestor shaman thing out. Like I was just being introduced to those ideas of like, man, it's not about faith. It's about who you are. It's about also not, if you're not a cunt, you would never forget your ancestors or you wouldn't be here. On a logical level, just like the sun in the sky, you wouldn't be here if it didn't exist. So how do you not try to why would you ignore it? And I didn't pray at all because I didn't believe in Bible God or Bible Jesus anymore. And I always went to the river and walked along the river and smoked along the river since I was in middle school, And I did that, no lie, like every fucking day, every day. Because unconsciously, you never stop being who you really are, but you might be doing it completely in the wrong context, but you're unconsciously, like I would ritualize things way before I knew to, and once you do know, you should ritualize as much as you can so that the supernatural can take its time, get its time, have its time. If you don't give it the opportunity yourself, your psychic ability, and you're not having fun with it, then it will die. I'm sorry to say. But I would go out there and I used to say to my close friends, like, the river told me this. When I was a Christian, I'd be like, I feel like the river said this when I was out walking today. And for real, I told my wife, I really believe, I have to go to the Atlantic Ocean, like is, practically as close to Ireland as I can. I mean, this will be my way of pilgrimaging back to Ireland, my ancestors. And something told me, like, because they came over here, I had to go to the coast where they had it and look across the ocean to where my ancestors came from. And me and my wife did that. We sat on a lifeguard chair and took some mushrooms, and we looked out as the tide rose. And we literally were on mushrooms, like, man, we got to get down. It's starting to get deep under the chair at like 1 a.m. And it was true, real space. Right? Vril is another word for space. What space? Space of the orgasm. What space is that? That's a space where you are trying to reach orgasm, and something from somewhere, someone, somehow, sometime, and it needs to be exactly when, takes you to that place. And everyone may not seem like in your mind, but in the practical astral world and partially in the physical world, a big bang happens, a giant spark. And that's the spark that they're playing on in your unconscious to deceive you if you don't know by personal experience. And Maria Orsic sent me as her spokesman, as her student. I'm her spokesman because I'm her student, because I listen and obey Mother very closely so that I could represent her. That spark is the value. Okay, it transcends just the natural appetite. When we say real space, eternal orgasm, we now believe that it's only achieved with people who have, on some cosmic level beyond words, agreed that they really are one. And as Maria tells me every week, you're looking at it. I seen her once sitting on Lou's lap, playing with him and hugging him and loving him. And it was like, oh my God, like in the last year, all the times I heard her say, like, Joe, I've told you all along, like, you, we are the mystical thing, and me, Lou, and Donna are one. Siggy, we're one. And when I knew nothing, I just want to tell people now, it was Adolf Hitler who appeared to me that Maria Orsic brought me to. He was like in a monk's hood with I found out, many years later who it really was, because he's the avatar of Lou in this age. And too bad if you don't like it. You don't know him. He's very happy, joyful person because he stood up for his people. He fought to, was willing to fight to the death and stayed true to his own. All of these lies, don't believe the lies of a person's enemies. Of course they lie. Are you not in the real world? Do you not know how people are? Do you not know what people will say even about you or me? I mean, this is real. There's no limit to these people's evil. They're all in. They sacrifice children. They do horrible things. And I'm telling you that the avatar of Lou, Addie, is a very good person. And that's exactly why they made him the polarity. But he looked at me and he said to me, because this is after I had my experience with the invisible me telling me, you do not even understand what marriage means. And I was like, huh, okay. I mean, I was so skeptical at that time. I was like, okay, well, go ahead and tell me then. I had like an attitude of like, all right, whatever. And my true self thought that was very funny, too, that the avatar, not knowing who he's talking to, is talking like that. And you're like, how can you be two? Just like Yahweh's two in the Bible. He's everyone. Do you not get that in the myth? Yahweh's everyone. He created everything in the Bible, everyone. Oh, but we're not robot. How would a robot know? You stupid robot. Only a stupid robot would tell other robots, the big guy set us free. The big guy gave us free will. The big guy, the guy in the sky, the guy, dee. Right? I mean, you have to at least make sense. You don't make sense. You're like, oh, look at Zeus. He's eating kids, and kids are being born out of his thigh and born out of his head. And it's a myth, you fucking retard. And you open the Bible, and a woman's coming out of a guy's side, and you're like, but that literally happened because my dumb Hoosier pastor said so. He went to fucking seminary. He's a smart guy. He reads. He's a reader. I can hear Maria going, Joe, come on. We've made fun of America enough. We've picked on good old boys. And I'm sorry. I don't really mean, I'm just mad that the average American idiot doesn't care that some way, they believe Muslims are animals and don't love their children, and they don't care. And they believe every lie about Muslims like they believe every lie about World War II, every lie about World War One, every lie about the Bible, every lie about history, every lie about the Council of Nicaea that put your stupid ass Bible together. And then Crowley came along and Walmarted it, right? He edited it. He Amazoned it. He streamlined it so that your dumb ass could have a mystical book that fucking ties you up in bondage. And I can hear Maria going, listen, Joe, you're my spokesman. You're not allowed just to rant and rave about how much you hate. I am sorry. We'll be serious. Maria Orsic's at the heart of the polarity switch, right? They stole her look. They stole her dance. They stole her feline sexuality, because she is the Leo moon, right? Next time you hear people say, yeah, the full moon made me feel bad. Yeah, that's because that full moon is a lion roaring, and it wants you to lay out under the full golden moon, the Leo moon, right? I'm going to project right now onto us the warships of the Leo full moon. May the Leo lioness Maria Orsic guide us and protect us always. May she lift up her goddess of the sky eyes and her beautiful face. May it glance upon us and send a lightning sig bolt of vril up and down our spine and out our high chakra, our third eye chakra, our third iris chakra, and our astral mind chakra, and beyond to the true self. May we be one with Mother, because on each level, because she's one with her gods, means a projected level. It's not exactly the same, but on one level, all of us, her students who love her and are trying to have a more for her, eternal true love for her. Like she said, if it was a choice, may Lucifer bless you. But may we, because on the level where it is practical and is possible, may we, her students, become one with her, because it's not that hard. In 2025, food, clothes, and shelter, if we work together and use our not only physical energy, but our mental energy and our magic energy, right? And in Maria's way of practicing sex magic, she said, 90, everyone who doesn't have any eternal true love must practice this alone with the people they loved before they came here, right? Because, like she said, this closes the 8, closes the river. And now we can all flow together. And that's when the confluence becomes not the symbol, but the reality. Because those two girls, Sigrun and Maria Orsic, in 1922, in June of 1922 in Vienna, Austria, not because of any other reason but their essence, they proved together, maybe not alone, but together, they together were the most powerful one being, together as one in all of the ancient God, Allah, Lucifer, Yahweh, Shiva, Lord Shiva's mind. They were the most powerful beings in the entire earthling realm. Hail to you, Mother.
Rhea